Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Change your game with the all-new Pro Rock Hockey Stick, a Canadian company providing a top-of-the-line twig at an affordable price. Pro Rock sticks are extremely lightweight, balanced, and provide the perfect kick point. Get your fully customized stick today at ProRock.com. Play like a Pro Rock.
What is happening today, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed that new commercial that Cody Jensen was able to put together for us on 12 Out Sports. Thank you very much. It was very good, and I liked it very much. And welcome to my 146th show here, Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. We are live on 12 Out Sports on Thursday, February 18th. It's a Thursday. And it is absolutely snowing and slushing outside, freezing rain. However you want to put today, it is a downright mess. Because of it feeling slushy, there's going to be a lot of talk about a lot of hockey today. So if Cody and the World Hockey Report are listening to the show, you're going to be wonderful because there's a lot of hockey topics. But before I could get into anything today on the 146th show, use promo code 12Ounce Sports. All cash with a deposit bonus up to $1,000 for MyBookie. We are live. And ladies and gentlemen, today's special guest, Danielle Grega, part of USA Field Hockey. She will be joining me live at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You do not want to go anywhere. You do not want to miss the interview I will have with her today. And then now let me start with this. So, there are guys on sports shows that will, like, for example, Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports 1. He will use some of his show segments from other shows that he watched, like Nick Wright of First Things First, or maybe Skip and Shannon from Undisputed, and he'll make it into his own segment. So I want to do something similar to that this morning. So around, what was it, 123, 124, 125 yesterday, I'm on my laptop. I'm sitting down, I'm listening to the World Hockey Report. And Josh Yohe, Pittsburgh Penguins beat writer, joins the show. I'm sitting down there listening to it all, and I'm like, interested of all the things he says. So what did I take away from that interview? Some of the things he said to me. Or to them, excuse me. The first thing that popped my attention is that we knew this all along from Pittsburgh Penguins fans and the entire fan base. That Chris Letang is a train wreck, and no defenseman wants to play with him, it seems like. They should have traded him 2-3 years ago after they won the cup the first time, or after they lost to the Caps. It's a train wreck. He's a train wreck. The second thing I took away is that Yohe also said that Evgeny Malkin, there is major concern across the organization with him and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Is it that he's washed up, or does he want to go back home and play in Russia? It could be one of those two things. I don't think he's washed. Something tells me he just wants to go home and he just wants to play for Russia. Remember Ilya Kovalchuk? Led the New Jersey Devils to the Stanley Cup Final 2012. Collected 7-year contract, told the Devils, see ya, goes back to Russia. Well, this I could see the same case seeing here from Malkin going back home to Russia. And now here's another thing I took from that interview. The reason why ownership, Mario Lemieux, does not want to break up Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby is for the sole reason that Mario Lemieux still has to this very day that he believes that him and Jaromir Jagr should have been together and does not want the same to happen to Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby, which I understand. But now let's take into the cap consideration here what the future holds for this franchise, considering the fact that especially they missed the playoffs, Ron Hextall and Brendan Burke are going to have to trade something because you're going to have to get prospects or picks back, and I'm going to get to you something that I thought of yesterday in a minute. So the contract for Malkin after this year's 1 more year left, $9.5 million. Letang's got a $7.25 million left on his contract after next year. So they'll both be free agents after next year, and you'll have 1 year left. Instead of risking them losing them for nothing, if no one wants them on the trade market, if none of the other 30 teams want on the trade market, could the Pittsburgh Penguins tell Seattle Kraken, the franchise, the 32nd team, coming to the expansion draft this summer, and tell, hey, Seattle, could you take on both Malkin and Letang's contracts and basically ask Seattle for a bunch of draft picks? I don't know how that will work, but that's something to consider. If you're Pittsburgh and no one wants Malkin or Letang, expose them both and make sure Seattle takes both in the expansion draft. It'll get rid of all the cap, and I guarantee you Seattle's going to take on some hefty contracts, just like Vegas did. Remember when Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault went together in a package from the Florida Panthers to the Vegas Golden Knights? And I'm not sitting here, and I'm not trying to make any hot takes with you, Pittsburgh Penguins fan base, this morning. I am simply not doing that. This is off of logic and based off of business. If you want to get going in the rebuild phase, you make sure Seattle takes both of them and you ask for a ton of draft capital. That's how you do it, and especially if Seattle wants to win now. Just like Vegas is in win now mode, that's what their franchise motto was right away. And I guarantee you Ron Francis, the general manager, is going to want to do the same. And I'm telling you this, one of those two, if not both of them, are going to end up with the Seattle Kraken next year. And don't give me this take of Sidney Crosby being traded nonsense. I trade Malkin and Letang before you can, but you could get more for Crosby. But there's no way on this planet Earth that Lemieux's trading Crosby away for anything. So those are my takes on that. Next up on the list, let's stick with the Pittsburgh Penguins and let's go to the Washington Capitals and what happened the other night. So, Washington won 3-1, as I said on this show. I thought I was going to maybe jinx Pittsburgh, and that's exactly what happened. But then yet I always think of this. When you play good teams time and time again, so many times you're like, they're just not going to simply roll over and be bad. That's not the case. Washington had to beat Pittsburgh sometime. They weren't going to sit and roll over and lose 8-0 against them in a season series. Maybe it'll be like, it's not going to be 7-1. Maybe it'll be like 6-2 Pittsburgh, 5-3. And then there's something I'm going to get onto later in this show. And later on this show, I'm going to explain why the Washington-Pittsburgh series in the regular season is actually going to decide the fourth and final playoff spot in the East Division. So Washington sucked the life out of them, and that's what happens when you have a good goalie. Vitek Vanacek absolutely sucked the gravity right out of the building, and the words of Kevin Harlan. Excuse me. So let's see what happened. There were no goals scored in the first period, despite a ton of shots. Second period goals by the Capitals. Connor Sheary, 452 mark, assisted by Richard Panik and Nick Jensen. Washington, Jakub Vrana, backhanded goal, 11:31 mark in the second period, assisted by TJ Oshie, Nicholas Backstrom. Third period goals, Washington Capitals, Lars Eller, 109 mark, assisted by Richard Panik, Zdeno Dano Chara. Pittsburgh Penguins, Zach Aston Reese, 15:05 mark, 4:55 remaining in the third period regulation time, assisted by Teddy Blueger, John Moreno. And Aston Reese has 3 consecutive games with at least 1 goal. And then Vitek Vanacek with 26 saves for the Caps. Tristan Jarry, 39 saves for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jarry has been playing better, but the defense is still a train wreck. And remember, Marc-Andre Fleury's not facing as many 2-on-1s with Vegas than he is with Pittsburgh. I guess that has to say something about the blue line. And you better fix a lot of things up. This has got a lot of work to do. So let me move on to my next segment. Let's see. Number 3. Deshaun Watson rumors to the Carolina Panthers, which I find very interesting because that's a lot of hot topics going on in the show here. So Deshaun Watson to the Carolina Panthers, paid for Christian McCaffrey and the Houston Texans draft picks, while the Carolina Panthers did try getting Matthew Stafford in a trade but failed. Carolina is looking to make a big-time splash this offseason. A potential trade is quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, running back Christian McCaffrey, and 3 first-round picks, including a 9th overall pick for quarterback Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans. The Panthers would immediately be playoff contenders in the NFC. They don't have a bad defense. Derek Brown, Jeremy Chin, some of the rookies they have on the defense. You had Deshaun Watson, you have DJ Moore, you have Robbie Anderson. Mike Davis wasn't a bad running back last year. I think they need a tight end. I think they need a reliable tight end. They could go a running back by committee. Look at the teams that won Super Bowls. They don't have a top-tier running back. And Carolina, Dave Tepper, the new owner, just recently owner. I should stop saying new owner, but he recently bought the team. I think that sounds a little bit more better, maybe more professional by me. But the truth of the matter is, the Carolina Panthers, they get Deshaun Watson there in the playoffs next year. Because an astonishing stat this morning is that they lost 7 games by 1 possession. 1. But let's not forget that 2 or 3 of those games, they had to kick, not chip shot field goals. 50, 60-yarders to try and tie or win it. Let's not forget that. So, let's not try and pull down the kicker either. You're going to beat Kansas City Chiefs or some of the other teams they played. New Orleans Saints was another. Carolina's right there. Matt Rule's changing the culture in Carolina. And with the Atlanta Falcons and with the New Orleans Saints going on a downward spiral, Tampa Bay Buccaneers defending Super Bowl champions. Yeah, I know Tom Brady's there, but you don't know if they're going to be too content. You don't know that. Tom Brady could have Father Time finally catch up to him next year. Maybe Carolina Panthers be the best team in the division. Who in the high seed knows what's going to happen? And it's going to be a very telling sign what's going to happen. The heartbeat of the Houston Texans for now in Deshaun Watson, but he could very well be on the move. And then Carolina would get its quarterback in the future, which would not be very surprising. They are making every swings and whatever for the fences, but they always strike out. They can't seem to get on base or hit it out of the ballpark. They probably can't even hit it out of the own Charlotte Knights ballpark right now, the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. I mean, it's like you try things and then it just doesn't work. I don't think they want to draft a Trey Lance or a Justin Fields at number 9. They want to go get a Deshaun Watson. They don't want to have to settle for a rookie quarterback and have to stick with Teddy Bridgewater for another year. What if they get Carson Wentz? Joe Brady's a fine offense coordinator, and I know the Indianapolis Colts are probably in the running for Carson Wentz, but I understand all that. It's a business at the end of the day. So now let's get into the next segment here. Are the Utah Jazz the best team in the NBA? 120-21. You beat the Los Angeles Clippers last night. It's funny, my brother Ben called my dad on the phone this morning. I'm just wondering here. I told my brother Ben, and I'm like, hey, Utah Jazz, how about them? He's like, yeah, more like the Portland Trailblazers, Damian Lillard, and the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I'm not sold on the Lakers. I don't trust Anthony Davis helping. LeBron James not going to win a championship without him anyways. The Utah Jazz this morning are the best team in the NBA until otherwise. Yeah, I know they beat the Sixers shorthanded, and I know they beat the Clippers shorthanded. I get it. But this Utah Jazz team, and let me tell you some of their key players. Let's see. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, potential sixth man of the year, Rudy Gobert, Royce O'Neal, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Derek Favors, and Joe Ingles. And Quinn Snyder's the head coach, probably going to win the coach of the year. The Utah Jazz remind me of the 2019 Toronto Raptors. Donovan Mitchell's your Kawhi Leonard, your go-to guy. You got great role players around. You got an elite center, Rudy Gobert, probably was better than what Marc Gasol was. Pascal Siakam was their second best player. Their second best player is probably Jordan Clarkson. And, I mean, they just play very well defense. And they're well coached. Nick Nurse, just as good as a coach as Quinn Snyder. You get all, every once now and then, you don't have these super teams win the NBA title. And I know the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 had LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. But because of its Cleveland's history, it's a feel-good story, just like also in 2019 Toronto. Now, if the Utah Jazz win the 2021 NBA title, the Los Angeles Clippers for that matter, that's another feel-good story. And Miami won last year, been a feel-good story. So every now and then in the NBA, we don't get these super teams that win the title. And it'll be like the 2004 Detroit Pistons, where you had Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace, Lindsey Hunter, and don't even get me started on Darko Milicic. Simply don't even start with me about that. But that's where I go here with today and the Utah Jazz. Up next, and I think the Utah Jazz have the potential to win the NBA Finals. Let's see. Depending if the Clippers choke, especially Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, we'll see. Next up, let's go from the Ottawa Senators to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I know Toronto won 2-1 last night. And yeah, I know that's probably the more recent game, but because I wasn't on air on Tuesday, I just want to share this game with you from Monday night. So, Toronto has a 5-1 lead against the Ottawa Senators. 5-1. In the second period, Ottawa storms back to win 6-5. And I sit there and I'm laughing. I'm like, Toronto's old defense, they need a goalie. Frederick Anderson's not the answer. And it reminded me of the 2013 Game 7 series against Boston. You have 4-1 on the road in Game 7. And then you lose in overtime to Patrice Bergeron. It's the same old Maple Leafs. And I'm sure that media market ain't a cupcake. It probably avalanche you with dodgeballs and probably some bricks. How about that? They definitely don't ask softball questions for sure in that Toronto media. And I'm watching that game Monday night, and I'm just sitting like, I'm just laughing like, oh dear old Neptune, it's the same old story with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And my Uncle Frank, and I knew he's messaging me the second I knew after Ottawa scored. Am I smart man, better man, or what? The Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah, they're still in first place in the North Division as we speak today. But I'm curious to see how this is going to roll on as the season progresses. So, this is the Battle of Ontario. Let's see what exactly happened in this game. Recap quickly before I move on. Let's see here. First period, Austin Matthews, 6:32 mark, assisted by Joe Thornton, Mitchell Marner. Travis Boyd, 10:29 mark, assisted by Jason Spezza. Let me say something about Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews needs to be, I feel like he scores every game. I feel like he needs to be drug tested immediately because he is simply not normal with what he does. Austin Matthews is a complete not normal. I'm telling you, Austin Matthews is he's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. But it's not this, excuse me. He's probably going to win the Rocket Richard Trophy this season. Ottawa Senators, Drake Batherson, 12:40 mark, assisted by Tim Stutzel. Second period goals. Toronto, Pierre Engvall, 1:49 mark, assisted by Alexander Kerfoot and TJ Brody. Maple Leafs again. Joe Thornton, 951 mark, assisted by Austin Matthews. And then Austin Matthews scores again for the Toronto Maple Leafs at the 1901 mark on the power play, assisted by Morgan Riley, John Tavares. And the turning point of the game, Ottawa Senators, Nick Paul, 1951 mark, short-handed goal, assisted by Austin Watson. Third period goals, Ottawa, Artem Zub, 41 seconds to the third period mark, assisted by Chris Tierney and Connor Brown. Ottawa, Connor Brown, 5:52 mark, assisted by Colin White and Thomas Chabot. Ottawa, Evgeny Danilov, 17:59 mark with the extra attacker on the ice, 6-on-5, assisted by Brady Tkachuk and Josh Norris. As I said, 6-on-5 with the extra attacker on the ice. And Evgeny Danilov at the 2:19 mark in overtime for Ottawa, assisted by Thomas Chabot and Nick Paul. Marcus Holberg finished the game with 33 saves for the Ottawa Senators. Frederick Anderson finished the game with 25 saves for Toronto Maple Leafs. Now let's get into last night's game with the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. Let's give a round of applause and a big shout out to Connor McDavid. Congratulations, man, on career point number 500. And it took you exactly 369 games to reach that point, just like Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins did. Now, Connor McDavid needs one Stanley Cup. And that's going to satisfy everything with him. Because I know he's gone through rough times in Edmonton. With the way they've treated him with the roster, they haven't treated him poorly. But there have been some roster decisions. And I got to say, the third, fourth lines have actually been better. And they're tightening up a little bit on defense. I guess Mike Smith is the answer, I guess, in that. But how long will it last? And Evan Bouchard is becoming something on the blue line. And they did a good job of splitting games against the Winnipeg Jets. You bounce back from a 6-5 loss on Monday night. You win 3-2 here on Wednesday night. And that was interesting because the Connor McDavid 500th career point in this game came in the first period, just 3:40, just early in the game. And it was a goal by Jesse Puljujarvi. And it was assisted by Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And then, later in the first period, Leon Draisaitl scores for Edmonton. It was assisted by Tyler Ennis and Chris Russell. Then Winnipeg scores on the power play in the first at the 19:06 mark, assisted by Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey. Second period goals, Edmonton, Leon Draisaitl once again on the power play, 16:45 mark, assisted by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid. And in the third period goals, Winnipeg, Niels Pionk, assisted by Nikolai Ehlers and Josh Morrissey, 1:28 mark. Connor Hellebuyck, 27 saves for Winnipeg Jets. Mike Smith, 33 saves for the Edmonton Oilers. And simply from that game, those two teams, that's going to be another team. Those two teams are going to battle out for like 3 and 4. Some people think like Toronto-Montreal is safe, but then it's going to come down to, forget Ottawa. Then it's going to be like Edmonton and Calgary and Vancouver and Calgary. Wait, so Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, and Vancouver. Excuse me, my bad. So, now let me move on to my next segment. But before I do, use promo code 12OunceSports, all cash with deposit bonus, up to $1,000 for my bookie. We are live on 12-Ounce Sports, Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner, mybookie.ag, 12OunceSportsRadio.com/Amazon, promo 12-Ounce Sports. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning into my show once again. I truly appreciate it. And for all the other hardworking people out there that make this radio station a success, week in, week out, Beck, JB, Cody Jensen, Tyler Valdez, Michael Corvallis, and all the rest of the 12-Ounce Sports crew on here. And then at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time, USA Field Hockey star Daniel Gregor will join the show. She'll call into the show. That's my special guest for today. And you simply do not want to go anywhere, and I'm in the hockey mood. And speaking of All-Stars here, because there is no NHL All-Star game this season, I felt like I wanted to make my own NHL All-Stars list, and you can now get critical of me all you want. So this is usually, and I know the NBA is doing it, and I shared mine a couple weeks ago. Let me tell you how the NHL does their All-Stars now these days. They do it by division. They do it by a 3-on-3 tournament, and the rules are, and I do not agree with it, you have to have at least one All-Star from your team. That's how it works. So each team must be represented, which I don't agree with, but those are the rules. And because of that, I had to make it the most sense here in this scenario. And I was telling Cody Jensen about this, and Cody, criticize me for all you want. Here we go with my All-Stars. East Division All-Stars. Forwards, Sidney Crosby, Pittsburgh Penguins. Alex Ovechkin, Washington Capitals. Brad Marchand, Boston Bruins. James Van Riemsdyk, Philadelphia Flyers. Artemi Panarin, New York Rangers. And Jack Eichel, Buffalo Sabres. And I'm going to tell you this point blank. I 100% truly believe that Matthew Barzal's a better player than Jack Eichel. I will tell you 100% that I'm not going to deny it. But the problem with this format is that Buffalo has no goalie or no defenseman as an all-star, and I had to go with that route. That's what I truly believe. And I know you Islanders fans are probably going to want to get on me for it, and that's fine, and I'm cool with it. And I probably know I snubbed Barzal. But the way the NHL does it is absolutely preposterous and absolutely ridiculous. So let me get to my defensemen here on this show. The defensemen I have, Charlie McAvoy, Boston Bruins, John Carlson, Washington Capitals, and even Provorov, Philadelphia Flyers. I sense no wrong scenarios here. Goaltenders, Mackenzie Blackwood, New Jersey Devils, and Semyon Varlamov, New York Islanders. By far the two best goalies in the East Division, but I can understand an argument for Vitek Vanacek and the Washington Capitals. But because the Devils, I don't think, have an all-star on the blue line, maybe you could argue Jack Hughes. The truth of the matter is, the New Jersey Devils starts and ends with Mackenzie Blackwood. The Harpy Hartzell of that New Jersey Devils front when it comes to goaltending. And Blackwood simply didn't miss any time, and he didn't miss anything. One of the best goalies in the league, and there will be a reason why he goes to the Canadian team for the Olympics next year. Now and my head coach for that division is Bruce Cassidy of the Boston Bruins. Now let me get into my West Division here. My forwards for the West Division are as follows. Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche, Connor Garland of the Arizona Coyotes, Jordan Greenway of the Minnesota Wild, Max Pacioretty of the Vegas Golden Knights, Anze Kopitar of the Los Angeles Kings, and Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks. I probably did snub Mark Stone, and I'm going to tell you that. But it also looked up some statistics, the whole team things again. I'm like, So I always question that. Defenseman, Cale Makar, Colorado Avalanche, Drew Doughty, Los Angeles Kings, and Brent Burns, San Jose Sharks. So who are now the goalies for the West Division? John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks and Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues. Now I know the Blues are one of the better teams. As I said about the Devils, it starts and ends with Blackwood. The Blues, it starts and ends with Binnington. And the same goes for the Ducks with Gibson. And I know there's been trade speculation about John Gibson as well. And I know that situation is kind of fluctuating, I guess you could say. And I know E.J. Herdick of the NHL Network loves to use that word a lot. And I guess watching that show, it's finally paid off. Great job by Jackie Redmond and Ken Danico New Jersey Devils, color commentator also on the NHL Network, Elliot Freeman, TSN. I love watching that crew. But the one crew that I truly miss was back in 2017 when the Pittsburgh Penguins went back-to-back Stanley Cup titles and beat Nashville Predators. Was Steve Mears, now the play-by-play announcer of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Michelle McMahon, who's now with the Big Ten Network, and E.J. Hradek, who's still with the NHL Network. That was my favorite crew of them all. That gave me so many good laughs. But I'll get to more of that. I guess maybe I'll talk more about it maybe another time. But let me get back on track. The head coach for the West Division, Jared Bednar of the Colorado Avalanche. North Division. All right, Cody, keep your ears tuned to this one. Let's see if you could agree with me in all this one. For the North Division in Canada, here are my forwards. Austin Matthews, Toronto Maple Leafs. Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers. Leon Draisaitl, Edmonton Oilers. Mitchell Marner, Toronto Maple Leafs. Mark Scheifele, Winnipeg Jets. And Johnny Gaudreau, Calgary Flames. Defensemen, Thomas Chabot, Ottawa Senators. Quinn Hughes, Vancouver Canucks. And Jeff Petrie, Montreal Canadiens. Goalies, Carey Price, Montreal Canadiens. And Connor Hellebuck, Winnipeg Jets. Head coach, Sheldon Keefe, Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh, man. Matthews and McDavid. Oh, boy. And Quinn Hughes on an all-star team? Oh, man. That's well, you know the old phrase? What is it called? I guess in baseball they call it Murder's Row, right? With the lineup? Oh, man. That would be something to watch. And you still got Scheifele and Draisaitl, Gaudreau, and Marner, who are still excellent talents. I mean, I don't see any flaws on this all-North Division team here. I really don't. I guess that's why they call it a Canadian game after all. Now let's go to the South Division. Who are the forwards? Braden Point, Tampa Bay Lightning. Andrei Svechnikov, Carolina Hurricanes. Patrick Laine, Columbus Blue Jackets. Joe Pavelski, Dallas Stars. Jonathan Huberdeau, Florida Panthers. And Patrick Kane, Chicago Blackhawks. Defensemen, Victor Hedman, Tampa Bay Lightning. Dougie Hamilton, Carolina Hurricanes. And John Klingberg, Dallas Stars. Goalies, Andrei Vasilevsky, Tampa Bay Lightning. And Thomas Greiss, Detroit Red Wings. Now, I can understand the critique and the criticism right away for me choosing Thomas Greiss. But as I always say, I had to stick by the NHL rules, and then I did that. Maybe you could argue Dylan Larkin, but you cannot tell me that Dylan Larkin is better than Patrick Kane, Huberdeau, Pavelski, Laine, Svechnikov, and Braden Point. You cannot tell me that. And where's Detroit good on the blue line? Klingberg, Hamilton, and Hedman. Not good there either. There's one guy I might have potentially stopped, and I replaced him with Dougie Hamilton, Carolina. That is Aaron Ekblad of the Florida Panthers. Would maybe be, a potential replacement for him. Thomas Greiss, he's actually not been bad this year. He just plays on a very awful team. It's as simple as that. And the head coach, Joe Quenneville of the Florida Panthers, and they had their best start in franchise history. I'm telling you, maybe he leads into a Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history this year. Who knows? Maybe the Florida Panthers are a complete dark horse. And I mean, who knows? But I like those all-star teams. I think the worst on paper for some reason to me sounds like the South Division. I don't know why. And I think the South Division has actually been very talented. Or maybe the East sounds weak. I know it's the toughest division, but definitely the North Division for sure is the best. No, actually, North Division, East Division, South Division, West Division. That's my opinion. I think the North should play the West. And I think the East should play the South. That's what I think. If they had to do an all-star game. Next on my list, let me get into the NHL current standings playoff picture. But I'm not telling you the current standings. What I'm telling you is a projected standings for the potential Stanley Cup playoffs by The Athletic. So let's start with the East Division. They have number 1, 2, and 3, Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Islanders. So they had those first 3 teams first. Who's at number 4? Very interesting. The Pittsburgh Penguins. And who's at number 5? Oh, it's the Washington Capitals. What does that tell you from The Athletic? Translation, they think that the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to win enough matchups or get enough points against the Washington Capitals that every game's going to matter and Pittsburgh's going to win. And they still have to play Buffalo 8 times, and Washington has almost played them half the time. That's the translation that The Athletic is trying to give us here. Is that the Washington Capitals aren't going to have enough points against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that Pittsburgh might steamroll Buffalo, and Washington has played Buffalo almost enough times already. Number 6, New Jersey Devils. Keep an eye on them. Number 7, New York Rangers. And number 8, Buffalo Sabres. Now let's go to the North Division. Number 1, Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 2, Montreal Canadiens. Number 3, Calgary Flames. Number 4, Edmonton Oilers. Number 5, Winnipeg Jets. Number 6, Vancouver Canucks. And number 7, Ottawa Senators. So forget Ottawa. So they think Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, and Edmonton are going to be the 4 teams. Now, I find Edmonton interested. I think they might be more safe now because of McDavid and Draisaitl. But it might come down to Calgary and Winnipeg. And Winnipeg, I think, might have a better roster than Calgary. But the thing is, I did predict Calgary to make the playoffs, and I did predict Vancouver. So any 1 through 6 could all make or miss. Forget Ottawa at this point. Now let's go to the South Division. Number 1, they have the Carolina Panthers. Not the Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, excuse me. Number 2, Tampa Bay Lightning. Number 3, Dallas Stars. Number 4, Florida Panthers. Number 5, Chicago Blackhawks. Number 6, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 7, the Nashville Predators. And number 8, the Detroit Red Wings. So, what does this say about the South Division? That they truly believe that Dallas will find a way and get hot at the right time. They think Florida's going to cool off. They really love Carolina's roster. The Lightning are still the Lightning. And they think the Blackhawks, even though they are currently a shared tie with the Florida Panthers to top that division, they think their youth at some point will falter off. They'll go through growing pains. And Columbus doesn't have enough goal scoring. I don't know what's wrong with Nashville. They need to blow the whole thing up, honestly. And Detroit Red Wings, they're rebuilding. Now let's get to the West Division. Number 1, the Colorado Avalanche. Number 2, the Vegas Golden Knights. Number 3, the St. Louis Blues. Number 4, the Minnesota Wild. Number 5, the Arizona Coyotes. Number 6, the Anaheim Ducks. Number 7, the Los Angeles Kings. And number 8, San Jose Sharks. What does this say? This says they believe Colorado, Vegas, and St. Louis are by far the best 3 teams in that division. Tells me that the 3 California teams, Anaheim, Los Angeles Kings, and San Jose Sharks, Ducks, not making the playoffs. Because the Ducks, Kings, and Sharks won't make the playoffs, it's going to come down to the Minnesota Wild and the Arizona Coyotes, and they believe Minnesota will make the playoffs because the Minnesota Wild are simply just a little bit better of a hockey team than the Arizona Coyotes are because they got a little bit more grit. They can score a little bit more. They're better defensively, and I think they're maybe a little bit more structured. I'm not trying to discredit Rick Tocchet's head coach because I think he's done a good job with the Arizona Coyotes. I just think that is what it has to do with. Moving on from this segment, let me get into my top 10 NHL teams at the current moment. Number 10, the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 9, the St. Louis Blues. Number 8, the Winnipeg Jets. Number 7, the Montreal Canadiens. Number 6, the Philadelphia Flyers. Number 5, the Vegas Golden Knights. Number 4, the Florida Panthers. Number 3, the Boston Bruins. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And number 1, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And you want to know what's funny about this? Florida, Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. Well, Florida, Tampa Bay are in the same division this year, but Boston, Toronto are not. If Florida, Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto were all in the same division this year, there's no way on this planet Earth would have a 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. And it would be now in that other normally realigned division. Oh, and Montreal would be too. So are we saying here that if this was a normal season, that the Atlantic Division with those 5 teams would be the best in the NHL, with Ottawa, Buffalo, and Detroit being all bad? That's amazing. And I have St. Louis and Winnipeg from its old division, and I only have the Flyers and the Hurricanes from its division. The only one from that other division is Vegas Golden Knights. And some of the other teams I did snub was the Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Islanders, Colorado Avalanche, and the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe I should put the Hurricanes up further, but I'm curious to see how that's going to go. The Carolina Hurricanes are number 10, St. Louis Blues number 9, Winnipeg Jets number 8, number 7, the Montreal Canadiens, number 6, the Philadelphia Flyers, number 5, the Vegas Golden Knights, number 4, the Florida Panthers, number 3, the Boston Bruins, number 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and number 1, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ladies and gentlemen, in about 2 minutes, USA Field Hockey star Daniel Gregor will call me live onto the show. And now let me, as I've always introduced every single guest before they call me onto the show. This will be my 8th guest I will be having on the show in the past 4 weeks. This is the 4th guest out of the network. And I've also had 4 guests from the 12OunceSportsRadio.com network as well. And here's some interesting facts about her. She graduated from the same high school as me in 2014 while I'm in Valley West. She graduated from Old Dominion in 2017 and played field hockey there as well. Career highlights: joined the U.S. Women's National Team series against Belgium, Lancaster, PA. Recorded first cap on November 26th against Belgium. That was back in 2018. In 2019, series against Canada, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and series against Chile, Santiago, Chile. In 2020, named to the U.S. Women's National Team January. World Championship experience, 9th place. 2019 FIH Pro League Worldwide, bronze. 2019 Pan American Games, Lima, Peru. 2019 FIH Hockey Olympic Qualifier, Bhubaneswar, India. And 2020 FIH Pro League Worldwide Team Club Kapow PA Elite FHC. So that's a pretty good resume. And I love having different types of sports guests on my show. As I always say, you get to have different views and different voices about a lot of things and scenarios. I did not hear that go off. Morning, Danielle. How you doing today? Thanks for coming on.
Hi, Glenn. How are you?
Good. I didn't hear the phone go off. I saw the phone look at 11:45 and realized you called 11:43. I didn't hear the phone go off.
Oh, no problem. I clicked it on accident.
Clicked it on accident.
Yeah.
Gotta be precise on the time. I'm just joking around. So how are you dealing with playing field hockey these days during the coronavirus?
Oh, yeah. It's been really difficult. So the USA national team, we haven't practiced for almost a year now. The last time we practiced was March of last year. So it's been tough not playing. I think just at home, being able to work out and find the motivation to work out has been a little challenging. Just knowing that eventually it's going to pay off and we will get back to training. So that's that aspect of it. And then I think it's also a little disappointing that we haven't had any games within the last year. So hopefully those will start back up soon and we can kind of get the ball rolling and get back on track with things.
See, you say training, and I see some of your stories all the time, and I'm wondering, like, you always find a way to get into Wyoming Valley West Stadium. How do you get all those connections to get in there?
Wyoming Valley West Stadium is actually open during the day sometimes when there's facilities managers there. So I just kind of try and, sneak my way on, hop on whenever it's open. And then otherwise, if that's not open, I kind of just find my way or find somewhere to kind of do my workouts. I recently joined a gym since they are reopened. So, I just kind of make do of what I have. If I can't get in the stadium, then sometimes it'll just be running on the concrete outside my house. Sometimes it'll be over at Kirby Park in Kingston. So, just finding whatever I can.
Speaking of finding things, how did the U.S. national hockey team, field hockey team, find you?
Oh, yeah. So when I played Division I field hockey in college at Old Dominion. And then from there, growing up as a kid, you have different kind of programs that are led through USA Field Hockey, and I participated in those. And then I was asked to join. So I joined the U19 national team. And then from there, once I got older, I was on the U21 team. And then eventually the developmental team. And then I was in Chile, Santiago, Chile, for a tournament with the U.S. developmental team. And from there, the national team coach was there, and she kind of saw me play and liked what she saw, I guess. So then she invited me to join the senior national team.
So is there like a contract you had to sign? Well, I guess that's a silly question, but what kind of – is the contract big? Is it not a big contract to be on the U.S. national team? Are you playing in the Olympics? Is it this summer, I believe, or what's going on with all that?
Yeah, so we do sign yearly contracts. And then obviously it's not a big contract. I mean, nothing compared to an NFL player. But, not a big contract. And so basically the contract is just that you're on the team for this year, and then they renew the contract each year. So that kind of decides how long you're going to be on the team. Like, at the end of a contract, you can obviously decide if you want to retire or whatnot. But then, so the Summer Olympics are actually this year. So Tokyo 2020 was moved to 2021. Unfortunately, we didn't qualify for Tokyo 2020. So we will not be going, but we are looking ahead towards the World Cup in 2022 and then the 2024 Olympics as well. So looking forward to some good things.
So speaking of World Cup, I remember back in, I think it was like it was before the NHL 2017 season. I think they had like Russia and the United States. They had like a little countries in like Europe. Where's the World Cup played? Is it played in the fall? When is it played? And how many countries usually participate in all that?
I'm not exactly sure how many countries participate. So the Olympics are held every 4 years. And then, so like the last World Cup was in 2018. So it's 2 years before the Olympics usually. And it's held, this year, I think, well, not this year, but the upcoming World Cup in 2022 is going to be held in the Netherlands and in Spain. So they're actually splitting it up. Some of the games will be played in Spain, and then some of the games will be played in the Netherlands.
Well, I find that very interesting, the Netherlands and Spain. So have you ever thought about it? I know field hockey and ice hockey are two different sports. I don't know if you know what the WHL is, but would you ever lace up the skates if you decided to walk away from field hockey?
Oh, gosh, I'm not a good skater, so I don't know if I would be able to do that.
That's funny because I did a lot of, because you coming on the show field hockey, I felt like I would feel like taught a lot of hockey. It would make a ton of sense onto today's show. But what is all this stuff that you keep posting on your social media about the workout programs for what is it, field hockey?
So obviously our strength and conditioning coach, they kind of give us weekly workouts, daily workouts to complete on our own, which has been kind of part of the process while we haven't been training. And then, yeah, on the side, I just like to kind of do my own stuff, my own workouts as well. I enjoy going to yoga classes and hot Pilates classes. And then I also, on the side, enjoy doing clinics and coaching as well. So you probably see me post about some clinics I'm doing or coaching with the local club team Electric Surge in Kingston, Pennsylvania. So I'm kind of doing a bunch of different things, just trying to stay active and stay engaged.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. I mean, what's your favorite thing about being a coach?
My favorite thing is definitely just sharing my knowledge with them. I know I still have a lot to learn, but I think anything that I can give to the younger generation is extremely helpful for them. And I just like seeing players improve and grow. I think it's really special.
Now, are you gonna maybe coach like high school one day? Is that in one of your goals? Is that on your things, or not really?
I would say it's definitely on my radar. I don't know if it would if I would enjoy it as my full-time job, but I do want to continue to give back to the sport and grow the younger generation. So I think it is something I will be a part of. Just not sure how much a part of my life that will be.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but remember when one of the nights at like field hockey, like we shoot on the teachers, like was it your stick or was it someone else's stick that I would score like 4 out of 5 goals on the teachers, and I would just like rub it in their face the next morning. I think it was senior year or something like that.
Oh yeah, we always had that breast cancer game where we would let the students shoot on the teachers. The teachers would suit up in goalie equipment, and then students would be able to shoot on them. That was always a good time. I'm sure you were scoring a few goals, Glenn.
Just told you I won 4 out of 5. I should have won a net. I can't stop one of your shots. I would have to, I don't know, try and get Andre Vasilevsky. You probably don't know who he is. One of the great goalies in the National Hockey League. But it's like, why did you choose, midfield, right?
I'm a midfield forward. I've been playing forward a lot lately.
Why that over defense or goalie?
I just think forward suits my style of play best. I think I'm a pretty relentless. I'm a high energy type of person on the field, so I think that kind of best suits me. And I like to score goals, so I am gonna do everything I can to score a goal. That's for sure.
Don't we all love scoring?
Yes.
I would always play. I remember always JCC camps back in the day play street hockey. We had the field hockey as an activity a couple of years, and you probably remember Tim Lindman. And someone told him when playing field hockey, he had his own ice hockey stick. He's like, if you use that for field hockey, you're gonna break your stick. We don't need sticks shattering and kids getting it all over the place. All right, Danielle, thanks for joining the show. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Glenn.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey. Well, as always a treat having different guests on the show here. Well, I have a couple of minutes left on today's show. So where are we heading into next Monday? Yes. So if you really want to know who my next guest is going to be on this upcoming Monday show, for all you lacrosse lovers out there, I will be having Major League Lacrosse, Boston Cannons, Zach Goodrich, former Towson University superstar, onto my show as my next guest on Monday morning, at the same time as I always do with my guests at 11:45. Ladies and gentlemen, you simply do not want to miss that interview, and it's going to be spectacular, and hopefully it will be so, and I am looking forward to that one, because I only talked about lacrosse on my show exactly one time in my life. That was like last May, we were all in quarantine, or it was June or July. There was one time I talked about lacrosse on this show, and it was only one time in my life that I went to a real game live, and I don't know if I'm going to want to ask about it on Monday, but stay tuned for it. I'm very curious to see how it's all going to work out at the very end. Man, these guest segments just keep getting better and better, don't they? And who? Oh, it's just people. Oh, we have breaking news! Ladies and gentlemen, thank goodness I just looked at my phone. The Philadelphia Eagles agreed to trade Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2021 third rounder and a conditional second rounder in 2022. Thank goodness I just looked at my phone. I heard a beep. I'm like, I don't want to see this. It was through the WhatsApp and my dad just sent it to me. Wowie gazowie. Carson Wentz has been traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2021 third rounder and a conditional second rounder 2022. This was reported by NFL Network's Mike Garofalo. And ladies and gentlemen, the offseason in the NFL is going to continue to be bonkers and complete shenanigans. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, buckle up for this roller coaster because we're going to be on one bumpy ride. Cannot wait. This is absolutely crazy. And he's going to get a fresh start with Frank Reich. And oh boy, Colin Cowherd. He's probably going to lead off with that show today. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time here. Thanks for tuning in to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend as well. I will be back on the air at the same time Monday. I'll probably lead off with that breaking news of Carson Wentz being traded to the Indianapolis Colts. I will have thoughts on that. NHL, NBA game recaps. Special guests, Boston Cannons, Major League Lacrosse, Zach Goodrich, former Towson University lacrosse player, men's lacrosse, and we have some other good segments in store. Use promo code 12ounce sports, all caps with deposit bonus up to $1,000, and my bookie. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Are you ready for the King of the Ice? Pete's Power Plays with Philly Pete starts now on 12-ounce sports.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday, February 18th, 2021 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete. That's me, and we're live on 12-ounce sports and Zingo TV, channel 761. Hope everyone's having a phenomenal Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning, wherever you may be across the world. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and hanging out with yours truly, Philly Pete, for the last show for the week. And I know it's upsetting, but hey, we're back on Tuesday like usual. So this show, Pete's Power Plays, is sponsored by the one, the only MyBookie.ag. Sports are back here, ladies and gentlemen, as we know. And the best way to start cashing out large is by going to MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code 12ounce sports. That's 12OZ sports, all caps. Once again, MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code 12ounce sports when setting up an account with us. And from there, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. And always remember to gamble responsibly. So once again, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code 12ounce sports, 12OZ sports, all caps. Again, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. Simple as that. And always remember to gamble responsibly. Also, Zingo TV, channel 761. Those out there that are tuning in right now, welcome aboard to today's episode of Pete's Power Plays. Those that don't have Zingo TV, it is a free app out there on every streaming device out there. Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Google Chromecast, whatever it may be, it's there, and download. It's a simple, easy, free download. Just search it up, and when you do so, put in promo code 12ounce when making an account. And of course, as always, flip to channel 761 where you'll be hearing today's episode of my show. Simple as that. So once again, Zingo TV, channel 761, and there you have it. And last but not least, Amazon. We have a website out there to those that want to buy anything. And by doing so, if you're going to go to Amazon, make sure you go to www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. Once again, www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. So, ladies and gentlemen, first off the bat, huge news within the Philadelphia Eagles organization right now. Carson Wentz has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts. I said that from the start. I knew he was going to go reunite with Frank Reich. It was a matter of timing. He loved him here when they were together in Philly. And, of course, Reich went to Indy. And it just made so much sense that he would go that way as well. Well, Colts fans, there you have it. You have Carson Wentz. The Eagles dump all that salary onto them, and we get a 2021 third rounder into the draft this year, a third round pick for this upcoming draft, and a second round pick in 2022 that could be a potential first round pick. Obviously, depending on the amount of snaps that Carson Wentz takes, obviously we can go from there. So there you have it, Carson Wentz getting traded to the Indianapolis Colts to reunite with Frank Reich and the Eagles all in on Jalen Hurts. Simple as that. I'll be surprised if they draft another quarterback this upcoming draft, but it looks like they are all in on Hurts for the next couple of years. Eagles fans, this might be a rebuild for the next couple of years for us as well. So again, Wentz to the Colts in exchange for a second pick in 2022 that could potentially be a first round pick, and a third round pick for this upcoming draft in a few months. Simple as that. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So last night we had a pretty decent outing. Again, it's, losing these half units, not even a unit on these plays, is starting to get old for me. But again, you can't just, you just got to take it with a grain of salt, and just that's how it works. That is how it works nowadays. But this NHL season has been so crazy, and, that's all we can do. That's all we can do. So, recapping last night, we had the Panthers and Hurricanes over 2 for plus value, over 2 in the first period. That was a push. Thankfully, somehow we got that in the last, 2 minutes of the first period. Simple as that. Panthers plus 1.5 and Red Wings plus 1.5. Puck line parlay that paid out at plus 120. That lost. The Red Wings are bad, and they're always going to be bad. I liked them last night because of what their game was the other night, but not even close. And they had a chance. They could have made it easily 1-0, but empty nets happen, and well, that's how the cookie crumbles. So that lost. Leafs and Senators over 2 in the first period. Again, plus value, that lost. Canucks and Flames over 6. We should have had this one. All right, we should have easily had this one. It was a 5-1 final. We get another push. 2 pushes on the card for Philly Pete. That's unheard of nowadays. Usually, we get 1 at best. But having 2 in one night, that's insane. So should have had this over 6, no problem. But again, you can't. I don't dwell on my plays that I have. You move on. Simple as that. So Canucks Flames over 6. That pushed. Excuse me. Red Wings team total over 2.5. Another play that I really liked, and unfortunately it just did not cash out. Red Wings were dead wings last night, and not even close. Then we get a nice little fire streak going. Canucks team total over 2.5. That won. Oilers money line. That won. Panthers and Canes over 6. That was a client play. That won. And then of course the other client play were the Leafs minus 1.5 on the puck line. I expected a little bit more out of Toronto that game, but I mean, again, they just didn't look right whatsoever. I mean, Austin Matthews is carrying this team, and they got to start waking up eventually. And this is the Ottawa Senators we're talking about. So that loss as well. So all in all, 3, 4, and 2 on the night, with a minus 0.8 unit on the evening loss. So all in all, 139 wins, 125 losses, and 11 pushes. We're still kicking ass with the units overall, plus 17.38 units. We're doing well for ourselves. Again, clients go 1-1-1 on the evening with a small 0.25 unit loss. Nothing crazy. They're still up as we speak, multiple units during the course of this season. So it's been a weird season so far, but we just got to keep grinding out, and we'll get back to where we should be over that 20 unit mark. Simple as that. Now, show plays. Carolina and Florida. Florida money line plus 125. That cashed out on the show. The plus 1.5 cashed out on the show as well. The over 6 and 6.5 both cashed out, obviously, as well. So that's a clean sweep for the Carolina-Florida game. Those that tailed my show plays and didn't want to bother with that two-team parlay, I get it. That plus the puck line parlay, I get it. So those that cashed out my show plays on that game specifically, congrats. Ottawa and Toronto. Toronto on the money line, as juicy as it was, that cashed out. The minus 1.5, of course, did not cash. The over 6.5 did not cash. And the first period over did not cash as well. So that was a tough one there for Toronto, those that tailed those plays. Again, Chicago and Detroit. Detroit plus 1.5. That was an unfortunate loss. The money line was a loser. The under 5.5 was actually the selling point of this game for me. You know, a lot of people were on the over 5.5 in the Chicago game. I didn't see it. I didn't like it at all, knowing that these two teams haven't really been scoring as much of late, and their game previously went under. So, you know, I want to take the under once again, and we saw an easy 2-0 win. So those that took the under 5.5 in the Chicago-Detroit game, congratulations on there. And, of course, the play, Detroit, team total over 2.5, that was a Twitter play. That lost. Vancouver and Calgary, again, this was an easy sweep of a game, too. Vancouver on the money line. Again, I was talking about having dogs win last night. Well, we had a pretty, we almost could have had Ottawa win again. But, hey, we'll take two. We'll take two dogs last night. Vancouver on the money line, that won. Vancouver plus 1.5, another winner as well. And the over 6, which pushed. So, again, if you took Vancouver from the show, congratulations. Even the puck line, congratulations. So, the unfortunate part was that push at over 6. You know, you can't do anything about it. That's just how it rolls. And, you know, that's how we were in Vancouver, Calgary last night. And then last but not least, Edmonton money line. Obviously, that was a Twitter play that won. And the over 6.5 was very close from cashing out as well. But these fell very, very short. So, all in all, show plays did pretty good. The dogs were the hit of the night. And, you know, that's how we take it. That's how we take last night's show. But, you know, tonight, more action. We had the Flyers back on tap tonight. A lot of players out, as those that didn't tune into yesterday's show. I had Jim Jackson on, the Flyers play-by-play announcer, of course, come on to the show yesterday, talk about Flyers hockey and how you're not going to have Travis Konecny, you're not going to have Claude Giroux tonight, and multiple others for this game against New York. So, you know, when I get back from my 2-minute break here, I will break down all these games for tonight, give you the true angles and odds, and my plays, of course, and when I get back from action. So give me 2. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Change your game with the all-new Pro Rock Hockey Stick. a Canadian company providing a top-of-the-line twig at an affordable price. Pro Rock sticks are extremely lightweight, balanced, and provide the perfect kick point. Get your fully customized stick today at ProRock.com. Play like a Pro Rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking that 2-minute timeout with me. This is the Thursday, February 18th, 2021 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only king of the ice himself, Philly Pete. That's me right here. And we're live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV, channel 761. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day, out of your morning, out of your afternoon, wherever it may be across the world. Thank you so much for taking time out and hanging out with, of course, yours truly, Philly Pete. So, getting back into tonight's action, we have a lot on tap this evening. And starting off, we have the New Jersey Devils at the Boston Bruins. Boston minus 230 on the money line. New Jersey plus 195 as a big-time dog on the money line there. 80% of the money going towards Boston at that big minus 230 spot. New Jersey, 20% of the money going towards there at that plus 195 spot. Over-under set at 5.5. These two teams are 5-5 in their last 10 when it comes to the overs. Jersey's 4-1 in the last 5 when covering the puck line away, of course. Boston 2-2 in their last 4 at home when covering the puck line. So I look at this game here, and you know this might be a solid edge here to New Jersey, and I like this. I like the spot here. I want to go a little bit crazy here. I want to take a little half unit play here, possibly, but I am very lately trending on the Devils money line at plus 195. Halak is in net for the Boston Bruins tonight, and obviously Blackwood's in net for Jersey as far as I know. But I know Halak is a definite for Boston. So to me, that sways me towards New Jersey's way there at plus 195. I also like the puck line for Jersey at plus 1.5. I think that's a good play if you're not feeling that really nice plus 195 money line spot. The plus 1.5 on the puck line will be nice for New Jersey as well. I like that a lot. And now when it comes to the over-unders here, again, these two teams, you know, they have good offenses. They really do. And, you know, they're 5-5 in their last 10 when it comes to the overs. So, you know what? Why not? I'm going to take the over 5.5 in this game as well. I think we're going to see some goals, a fair amount of them, I believe. And, you know, I could see a 4-3 sort of game here. You know, something about me is telling me the over 5.5 will be solid, and you know, that's where I'm going. So I like the Devils here at plus 195 on the money line. I also like them at the plus 1.5 puck line, and all in all, the over 5.5. Obviously, there in Boston. So there you go. All in all, Devils money line, Devils plus 1.5, and the over 5.5 there at the Garden tonight. Moving on, the New York Rangers at, of course, the beloved Philadelphia Flyers at the Wells Fargo Center. Over/under set at 5.5. Flyers minus 115. This is a game where everyone's going to be on the Rangers tonight, and I can't blame them. I cannot blame them. Flyers opened up at minus 150. They're now at minus 115, obviously, because all of the scratched players for tonight. However, this is a toss-up game now. Minus 115 for the Flyers. Rangers minus 105. You know, it's crazy. 80% of the money going towards Philly there at that small money line spot. Rangers only getting 20% of the love at that minus 105 spot. Again, over/under at 5.5. Flyers are 6-4 in their last 10 at home in the over, and New York Rangers 2-8 in their last 10 on the overs as well in their last 10. So I look at this game here. I'm going with the Rangers. I'm going with the crowd here. And, you know, I hope the Flyers prove me wrong. But with all these key players out, it's tough for me to take this team. We know how bad, you know, no offense to the other teams that played after COVID, but we know how bad and rusty they've looked. You know, the Wild looked pretty bad. You know, Devils previously, Buffalo. I mean, these teams looked pretty lackluster. They looked rusty. And I think it's going to be the same for the Flyers, especially not having 6-7 players tonight. So it will cost them. And obviously, you know, with the money line, because it's changed dramatically. So give me the Rangers here tonight. I think they win this game. And I like the under 5.5. I don't see much going on in this game whatsoever. Again, the key players being out. Rangers will have to take full advantage of this. And I like the under 5.5 because the Rangers obviously 2-8 in their last 10 on the overs. Not really doing well offensively. And that's where I'm going. So give me the under 5.5 Flyers Rangers, and give me the Rangers on the money line at -105. So there you have it at the Wells Fargo Center tonight. Simple as that. Moving on, the Islanders and the Penguins. This is another toss-up game. Pittsburgh -120 on the money line. Islanders -105 on the money line. Over-under set at 5.5. Pittsburgh did open up at -135. Now they're down to -120. So a lot of money going towards the Islanders' way, and I'm feeling that way as well. Again, over/under set at 5.5. Both teams are 5-5 in their last 10 when covering the overs for the over/under. So 5-5 on each side, going with the overs. And Islanders are 6-4 on the road covering the puck line. Pittsburgh not really a good puck line cover team at all at home. They're 1-5 in their last 6. So right then and there, that makes me go the Islanders' way. Now, Pittsburgh is a small favorite in this game. I'm liking the Islanders. I really do. If you're feeling that puck line at +1.5, I would parlay that with something else because I know it's going to be a juicy puck line, probably over the 200s, maybe -250. I mean, it's going to be a juicy puck line if you want to take the Islanders there. But I like the Islanders. I like the way they've been playing lately, and the way they've been playing is really good. They've been turning it around, and they're playing hot right now. The Islanders are playing hot hockey as we speak. Now, I know they played Buffalo. Buffalo hasn't been the best team lately, but they play against Pittsburgh now. So Pittsburgh, we know, can score. All right, they have that offense. Islanders' defense is pretty darn good. All right, they have great goaltending. They have great defense, and that's why I'm going that way. So give me the Islanders here on the money line at -105. Some books are even at +105, so they even have them as a dog, as a mini dog. So, but I'm going with what I have here. I have the -100 spot. Basically even here for the Islanders. That's where I'm going. And it's funny because only 40% of the money is going towards the Islanders here. And but that's where I'm going. I'm siding that way. It's a toss-up. And when you look at the over/under here, they're both 5-5 in their last 10. I truly do see some offense in this game. That's why I'm leaning with the over 5.5 in this game. That's where I'm going. So Islanders on the money line and the over 5.5 there in Pittsburgh when they play the Penguins there tonight. Moving on, Nashville and the Columbus Blue Jackets, of course, the over/under is set at 5.5. Okay, we have 5.5 here. Columbus is -125 on the money line. Nashville +115 on the money line. So, a small money line play here for Nashville. 75% of the money is going towards Columbus, though, at that -125 spot. 25% of the money going to Nashville at that +115. Not much movement lately. Columbus opened up at -120. Now they're -125. So a little bit of money heading towards Columbus's way there. Again, the over/under is set at 5.5. Both teams 5-5 in their last 10 when going the over. And these two teams are covering the puck line too. Nashville on the road 4-2 in their last 6 when covering the puck line. Columbus 5-3 at home in their last 8 when covering the puck line. So this could go either way here. But if I'm leaning one direction here, I am liking the Nashville Predators at that +115 spot. I think there's a little bit of value there. As much as Columbus has been pretty decent as of late, but I'm gonna sway Nashville's way, and what should be a relatively good game as well. And when you look at the over/under, I mean, a lot of Nashville games tend to go under, and that's how I'm feeling again. That's how I'm feeling this way as well. I'm not an under guy, but when I see these two, when I see Columbus, when I see Nashville, I feel like it's an under galore sort of game. So I'm going to go to the under 5.5, Nashville and Columbus. That's how I'm feeling. So, and give me the Nashville Predators on the money line at +115. That's how I'm feeling. Now, if you want to feel frisky, Nashville puck line +1.5. Parlay that with the Islanders puck line at +1.5. That might not be bad. You'll probably get a +110, +120 value out there. But all in all, in this game in Columbus, I like the under 5.5 and Nashville +115 on the money line. So there you have it. Ottawa and Toronto, 7 o'clock puck drop. Over under set at 6.5. Once again, Toronto, another whopping -310 on the money line. Ottawa +250 on the money line. Now, 80% of the money going towards Toronto, 20% of the money going towards Ottawa. We all know this. These games have been close, and I see another close game. We had an over the first time, no problem. We got under the next time last night, and Toronto just barely walked away. I mean, anyone besides Austin Matthews is going to have to step up. Anyone's going to have to step up on this team right now besides Austin Matthews. He has been basically controlling this whole team, and no one else has been helping out. But again, over/under, I'm leaning the under once again here. I mean, Ottawa is 2-8 in their last 10 with the overs. Toronto is 5-5 in their last 10 with the overs as well. And Toronto's 5-5 covering the puck line. They didn't do it last night, and Ottawa 4-7 in the last 11. Excuse me, 4-7 in their last 11 when covering the puck line on the road. So, and hey, they've been doing pretty well for themselves. They've been covering the puck lines. They even won the other night, and last night they barely squeaked out a loss. I mean, they could have tied the game up no problem. They fought Toronto, and they fought them pretty hard. So, you know what? Since Ottawa's been on a decent stride with covering the puck line, I'll sway that way with the +1.5 with the Ottawa Senators there, and I'm leaning under 6.5 once again. The offense was great. Both offenses looked great the other night, but again, this is the Ottawa Senators, and Toronto, they just didn't look right last night whatsoever. So for that, I'm taking the under 6.5, and I'm taking Ottawa +1.5 on the puck line. You should get some good value there as well. So there you have it there in Toronto. Buffalo and Washington, over/under set at 6. Washington is -160 on the money line. Buffalo +135 on the money line. I like that a lot. 80% of the money going towards Washington there at that -160. Buffalo +135 and getting 20% of the money there. All in all, you look at this game here. Over/under set at 6. I feel like this is going to go over. This is going to be 6.5 at some point during the course of the day. Now, Washington opened up at -180. Now they dropped to -160, so of course that money is going towards Buffalo. So I look at this game here. Buffalo has not been playing good. I like the value there, but they have not been playing good hockey whatsoever. I know they just got off COVID, but at that plus spot, why not? Maybe take a small voucher on that. But I like the +1.5 puck line here for Buffalo. I really do. I think they got to keep up with the Caps in this sort of game here in order to keep it close. And, that's where I'm swaying. I like Buffalo +1.5, and I like the over 6 in this game here, Washington and Buffalo, and even a over first period 1.5 as well. So give me Buffalo +1.5, give me the over 6, and give me the over 1.5 first period. Maybe a small token on the money line as well. So we'll see. Both teams, 7-3 for Washington in their last 10 on the overs. Buffalo 5-5 in their last 10 on the overs. So the over is a definite good play here for me, and I like that way. Obviously, Buffalo 1-3 covering the puck line in the last 4. Washington has been covering 5-2 in their last 7. But again, I'm taking my chances here with Buffalo to cover that +1.5 spot. So there you have it there in Washington. San Jose and St. Louis, over/under set at 5.5. St. Louis -185 on the money line. San Jose +165 on the money line. 80% of the money going towards St. Louis there at that -185 spot. 20% of the money going towards San Jose. St. Louis did open up at -215. Since then, dropped down to -185. Decent movement going towards San Jose, but not so fast. I'm sticking with the Blues here. I like what they see here. I like them on the money line, but it's too juicy for me, so I'm going to take them at that -1 spot there. So I have the Blues -1 for me. I'm taking the Blues -1 here. And if you're feeling frisky, take that money line at -185. But I'm all over the Blues here. Over/under again at 5.5. I like the over 5.5. These teams also have been pretty good. San Jose 5-5 in their last 10 with the overs. St. Louis 6-4 in their last 10 with the overs as well. However, St. Louis is 1-7 at home in covering the puck line in their last 8. That's something to look at. San Jose 6-6 on the road in their last 12. You could easily sway San Jose's way and cover that +1.5 spot if you want. You'll have decent value there. It shouldn't be that juicy because it's a heavy money line value there for St. Louis. But again, I'm putting my marbles in on the Blues here, -1. That's where I'm swaying, and the over 5.5 there tonight in St. Louis. LA and Arizona. Arizona -155 on the money line. LA +135 on the money line as a dog. 70% of the money going towards Arizona, while 30% of the money is going towards LA. Again, over/under set at 5.5. I like the Arizona Coyotes here. I do. -155. There's not much movement. They opened up at -160. Now they're down to -155. Nothing crazy happened in the world of that. So, but all in all, I think Arizona's been playing really good hockey as of late. It's decent. It's a decent juice play, but I just like this trend much better than LA. LA had a great game the other night against the Wild, 4-0 shutout. So, but for me, I'm leaning Arizona. I think they're playing really good hockey as of late. So give me Arizona on the money line at minus 155. Also, I'm looking at the over 5.5 here, and LA is 7-3 in their last 10 with the overs, and Arizona 4-5-1 in their last 10 on the overs as well. So again, when I'm looking at this game, I like the over 5.5. All right, some of you I know will probably take the under because you don't know what to expect from LA. I mean, they scored 4 goals the other night. They might throw up 0 goals tonight, but just the way that these two teams have been playing, and they've been scoring pretty decently, I'm leaning the over 5.5 there in this game tonight. And again, the Arizona Coyotes at that minus 155 spot. So there you have it there in Arizona. Obviously, we have a postponement tonight. Tampa and Dallas, obviously with the snowstorm going on there. Hopefully everyone down there in the Texas region is holding up okay. We know how it is. You know, we're supposed to get 8 to 12 inches of snow here tonight, and it's already coming down. So, but you know, hopefully everyone down there in Dallas region is doing okay, and thoughts and prayers are with you all. Last but not least, Minnesota and Anaheim. Over/under set at 5.5. Minnesota minus 130 on the money line. Anaheim plus 110 on the money line. This is a toss-up game. Anaheim's getting 55% of the money, while Minnesota's getting 45% of the money. And that's where I'm swaying. You know, I think Minnesota had a terrible game last time. I know they got out of COVID, but all in all, you know, I can't trust this Ducks team whatsoever. So that's why I'm going Minnesota's way. I want to give them another chance. Minus 130 on the money line. So that's where I'm going. Taking the Wild. And when it comes to the over-unders, I mean, this is another game that I feel like can go over, but I'm digging the under here. I mean, Anaheim Ducks do play really good defense, and they do play up to their competition. So to conclude it, give me the under 5.5 and the Minnesota Wild on the money line. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time. That's all for today. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay safe, obviously, with everything going on. And have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys again on Tuesday. See you guys. Bye.